Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much off your own terms. This is my co-host, Errol. Special shout out. Come on, Errol. Come on, dude. Special shout out to everyone that supports us on Patreon. We appreciate, love you so much. Family, we've started our TikToks, Dr. Mumbi Spirituals and Dr. Mumbi Show. So definitely check us out on that platform because we feel like we're probably going to be able to say more there. And something is definitely coming down the pipe, but those are stories for other days. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel, Dr. Mumbi Show and Dr. Mumbi Spiritual Show, and definitely consider supporting us on Patreon or PayPal so we can continue to bring you the Awakening News family. We get so many emails from you asking us to break news. No, we don't break the news, family. We just, we just look at it. We just look at those narratives and we analyze the news here because we're not here to cover the stories. We're not a news channel like that, family. We're here to show you that the awakening is happening, to confirm to you by giving you what is happening on the ground from an African perspective, from our perspective, because we're hearing the Russian perspective through Russia Today. We're hearing the Arab perspective through Al Jazeera. We're hearing the Indian and Asian perspective through WION. We're hearing, the American perspective through the CNNs of this world. We're hearing the German perspective through the Deutsche Welle, but we don't even have the African perspective. So that is our purpose here. And we'd really highly appreciate if you'd support us to do more shows. Recently, there's a lot that's happening on the ground, family. And we may not realize just how much our governments are doing to try and get the artifacts back, to try and get land back, to seek the injustices. But you see, they are sometimes not the best. I think they've not understood, and because they also like to, they've not understood the importance of the narrative and getting the people behind you. That's why Babylon is constantly telling their people what's going on, because they want to get them behind them. But here in the motherland, a lot of things is done in the government corridors and the UN corridors, and we never hear about it. And because we never hear about it, we never back up our peoples. Like ever since, and this is not about this family, but ever since global Africa became aware that over 90% of our artifacts were in foreign museums, it's been a game changer for our governments. We're seeing the museums shutting down parts of their museum that carry, the human remains of certain communities. We're seeing them now being forced to negotiate. They're still trying to wiggle out of it, but they've been forced to negotiate. And we're helping our governments behind the scenes, because another big thing that's been happening is that the Namibian communities whose ancestors were murdered through a genocide by German colonial forces and had their property seized more than a century ago are calling for fresh talks with Berlin. Because can you imagine in 2021, family? Berlin actually acknowledged that, I don't know how they put it, but they acknowledged to make up for they acknowledged that there was property seizures and killings by German, colonial forces between 1904 and 1908. And they said, we won't give you your land back, but we'll give you 1.1 billion euros over 30 years as compensation, not just for the land, but also killing your family, killing your ancestors. And when I saw that, it's demeaning. What is 1.1 billion euros as the world is entering a global recession? Oh, and not even in a year, over 30 years. I bet that doesn't even cover some of the budgets of their small towns or villages or municipalities or cities. And you see, when they call them communities, replace communities with nations, and you'll understand even how big of an insult this is. And this shows you that we are still in a dynamic with Babylon where they're still not ready to really feel they're sorry, to really, really do what's right. And we thank the Most High, we thank the ancestors, we thank the ancient ones that it's no longer even up to them to decide because we are in a spiritual dispensation. Mama Earth is tired of us and she's sick and tired of being tired of us. We've become, not all of us, but humanity. Africa, by not being able to get itself together as a custodians. And so much has been done. But can you imagine, family? You go and ask for your land back and you're told you'll be given $1.2 billion. That's more than the aid they give to some of these countries to do their work, dirty work for them. But luckily, family, it's no longer up to them. There's a beautiful hummingbird bird that's just going crazy. Shout out to them. We are in a spiritual dispensation, family. As much as these things, we're seeing a lot of these things manifesting on Mama Earth because they're in spiritual court and the spiritual court has decided. It's no longer up to whether Germany will give back the land to the custodians because we're not owners, we're custodians. And that's where the primary difference is. And that's why the world is where it is, because we have people who are as small as ants thinking they're the owners of this place instead of recognizing that they're custodians. Stories for other days. Or actually, stories we'll cover on Dr. Mumbi's spiritual show, so make sure you're subscribed there, family. But it's no longer up to them. They're no longer going to be able to hold on to the land, family. We are in a new spiritual dispensation for real, for real. And justice is being served because this is not justice. This is actually adding insult to injury. It's the same thing. Like the Ghanaians asking for the crowns and the regalia of their kings and queens and being told, actually, we have a law in our country by the British government. We have a law in our country that says we can't return stolen things, but we'll loan it to you. Like, do you see how mad the world is? How out of order? We are so grateful that a new world has already emerged and we're all up in it. Definitely consider supporting us on Patreon, family, or through a love donation through PayPal. And we are on TikTok now. Check us out, Dr. Mumbi Spirituals or Dr. Mumbi Show. Tuko pamoja.